welcome back. It's been a little while, but we are back on the podcasts after all of the Open, and obviously everyone watched Torian Pro, I assume. Not everyone, but I did.
A couple of the workouts.
Yeah, and I got pumped again. So we are back on the podcast, and with me today I have Dushy,
Milovanovic.
Milovanovic. Oh, I was going to have a crack. Milovanovic.
Pretty good, mate. He did pretty well.
Good. Close. Dushy, welcome on the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Kimbo. Thanks for having me on.
I figured we're going to start a little bit left of center to what we usually do. And I wanted to ask you, because if you don't know, Dushy does race cars on the weekends. That's kind of his hobby. Try to do every now and then at least. Maybe not every weekend, but quite often.
Yep.
And I have to ask, what's the dream car that you could take on the track?
Oh, man. I mean, there'll be a handful of exotics that'll be right up there, from the McLarens, the Ferraris, and that kind of stuff. I think maybe something that's a little bit closer to home, or something that's maybe more affordable, or, you know, it's a dream that you can sort of see.
Achievable dream?
Yeah, achievable dream. Maybe like an Audi RS3.
Oh, yeah.
They've got like a really nice engine note. It's like a mini Lamborghini. That's how I describe it.
Why do you pick a car over another car? Is it the sound or the feel of it, or what's the things that stand out?
It's just gotta be everything, right? It's gotta have the stance. It's gotta have the look. Maybe like a slightly aggressive look compared to like a normal car that you see parked down the street. Engine sound, and then the performance that goes with it, right? So there's probably like a few moving parts there to make it a attractive car for me, at least. Yeah.
So you're looking for similar things as you would look for in a CrossFit shoe, by the sounds of it.
Those things probably align very closely. Yeah. I mean, the shoe's got to look right. Sure, it's got to perform and all of those kind of things, but when it comes to shoes, first of all, they got to look right, right?
I feel like your shoe selection looks pretty similar to your car selection. There's a lot of white and red. You got a white car and a red car.
I've got more red shoes than anything else. It's very easy if you open our shoe cupboard, which hosts all of my shoes and probably a quarter of Lara's shoes.
Oh, she has another few cupboards full?
Yeah, so we've got a shoe cupboard. We've got a shoe cupboard, and then she's got shoes in the spare room, in our bedroom. There's probably even some in the laundry. Definitely the CrossFit shoes, all of the lifters are in the laundry. I don't know. I'd be scared to count how many she's got, but I'm definitely a fan of red shoes.
Yeah,
definitely.
And most of your shoes red, would you say?
CrossFit shoes, 3 pairs of those are red, for sure,
yeah.
Out of, 5 or 6. And aside of that, there's probably another 3 pairs. Like if you open it, it goes, this is predominantly red. And the ones that aren't red, they've probably got some sort of a red line through it or something like that.
Yeah, red details. So if you ever do see a new pair of CrossFit shoes that looks cool and it's got mainly red looks of it, just make sure you tag Dushy on those ones. He'll be wearing those pretty quickly.
I'll be purchasing. I saw there was a set of Reeboks. I don't know if they're Reeboks X, maybe there were, and I was looking at them, red, of course.
Yeah.
Red with a white heel. And then I saw somebody wearing them in here, and I was like, and they're the only ones. I was like, I don't want to steal their thunder. I'll go for the next model when they come out in red.
Oh, this is an interesting topic. So you don't want to have the same shoes as someone else at the gym?
Maybe.
It is a thing, right?
It is a thing, but if it's a sort of like a reddy, orangey color, and if I get to them first, I don't care if somebody else buys them afterwards. Everybody get get red shoes for everybody. But I don't know. I do. You want to be a bit of an individual, you think, and you choose the shoes with the shorts and the shirt, and it's all got to sort of match, right?
It's funny.
We've had this conversation before
100%.
when you're pulling out. There's a stack of shirts, stack of shorts, obviously the shoes, and okay, this has to go with this, and that has to go with that. Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah. I mean, I was way worse before when I competed. Because when you compete, you're out in public. There's going to be photos of you, maybe, if you do half decent, or if you make a fool out of yourself as well. And there's videos of you.
Good chance of featuring in a video.
There's basically the public seasons. I would think about that for ages, what to wear at the comps and stuff. But now I'm a little bit more relaxed.
But back in those days, you would have had everything was just Reebok, right?
Yeah, well, in the early days, there was no CrossFit shoes.
There wasn't. Yeah,
So I had the blue Innovates.
Yes.
I felt pretty elite in those.
the super nano.
Very thin sole.
God forbid you had to run somewhere that wasn't like perfect cement, and you'd feel every rock under your.
Well, actually, they were kind of better to run on a trail than on concrete or asphalt. Yeah. They were because they were so flexible. But I mean, now looking back at that, they weren't good CrossFit shoes.
I had a pair of those. Never guessed what color.
Blue?
No, red.
Red? Oh, of course. Yeah, they were in red. That's of course.
They were red and black. Yeah.
So, hey, Dushy, tell us when did you get into CrossFit? Because I know that you've been doing it for a while. Talk us through your journey of how you discovered it, how your first experiences were.
Sure. Wow, we're going back now. How it came about. Okay, so a couple of my friends went into one of the first open brookie gyms, SPS.
Yeah,
right.
CrossFit Brookvale.
CrossFit Brookvale. They started there. They did some classes and whatever else, and they're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." During that time, I'm at Fitness First. Bench Mondays, back Tuesdays, legs Wednesdays.
By yourself?
With two of my mates.
Okay.
They were not interested in CrossFit at all. And then I met Bass and Lisa out in a nightclub. They were celebrating.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it was the opening of the gym or their birthday. It's so long ago that I don't remember what the event was. I met him there through another friend who was DJing, Kai, and they're like, hey, well, we've got this gym. Why don't you come and check it out? No obligations, no anything. And maybe about 6 months later, I went and did my first CrossFit workout. This would have been maybe like 2011, 2012, roughly.
Yeah.
No idea what month it would have been. I remember the workout very clearly.
Awesome.
It was 21-15-9 thrusters and box jumps. Dumbbell thrusters and box jumps.
Oh.
Now, they're showing me the movement. I'm like, okay, yeah, this doesn't look too bad. And he's like, oh, what dumbbells are you going to pick? I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's basically just a shoulder press, which was at that time like my favorite movement, like seated dumbbell press, all day, baby, all day.
Oh, that's cool.
I went to grab a weight, and Bass at the time, who was coaching, he's like, oh, maybe start with the 15s. I'm like, 15s? I was like, okay, I'm going to smash this. Like, I'm just going to own the whole workout. These guys are going to be so impressed.
This is what you think every day here as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'll tell you something about that. Let's get back to running after this.
Yeah.
Picked up the dumbbells, got the 15s, did the box jumps, did the first set of thrusters. I was like, okay, 15 is probably a good weight. By the time we came to 21 round of 15, did the box jumps, and the thrusters ended up dropping the dumbbell on my head on the way down. Bass runs over, says, "Are you all right?" I'm like a little bit dazed. I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." He goes, "Oh, do you want like a tens or something?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna persist with this." I finished that workout. I was on the floor thinking to myself, "Holy smokes, what the hell is this?" And I was like, I'm not fit. There's no way I can do this every single day. I was like, I'm going to go back to Fitness First, train for like solid 2 or 3 years before I make a return.
Man, that's awesome. That is kind of a typical CrossFit entry story, especially back in those days.
Yeah.
So funny. Like, yeah, everything you've gone through there is like you ticked all the boxes, just thinking this is easy. Then 21 reps in, it's not so easy.
pick a weight that I was like, I can do this for days, literally. And 5 minutes into the workout, drop a dumbbell on my head. Yeah.
And then also it's interesting how you said, oh yeah, you got to train to get ready to go into the gym. Now it kind of makes no sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, in today's terms, I'll happily send my mum and my dad here to come and train. But back in those days, I think it was a bit sort of
different.
Rude. It was, you didn't want to have a shiny new rig. If it wasn't rusty, it wasn't,
Yeah. And the programming was a little bit all over the place. It was like hopper mentality, just like be ready for anything.
Yeah. And even if you look at the coaches that we were working with at those days, they probably didn't have all of the skills and all the talents that they have today that they've built over time, all the conditioning and strength coaching and etc.
100%.
But I was going to ask you the same question. Where did your CrossFit journey start?
Well, I was close to starting the same gym as you. I ended up there pretty quickly because I started out in Parramatta of all places. So I was into bouldering, indoor bouldering.
Were you lost in Parramatta?
Pretty much. I don't know how I did that because I lived in Manly at the time, but I would go out to Parramatta to train bouldering because I wanted to compete at a state level, and out there were some of the best climbers and definitely the best coaches for bouldering. So I was out there and I had like one-on-one coaching and trained pretty much 3-4 times a week. That bouldering gym ended up doing CrossFit just in the corner.
Right.
And we're literally talking in the corner. There was,
2x2 space.
There was no rig.
Yeah.
I think there was one or maybe 2 pull-up bars attached to the wall, mainly for rock climbers, and then a little bit of floor space, and then basically the outdoor area. And
barbells.
There were barbells. Yeah. And the bouldering coaches just always kept asking me, "Do you want to try do a CrossFit class or whatever?" A class of 3 people.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. Same as you. I wasn't interested for ages, probably for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I think the bouldering coaches realized I wasn't that good at bouldering. Probably could be a bit more talented in this short person sport.
Sorry,
CrossFit.
Sorry, Kimbo, it's not working out.
Yeah, you really should try this.
Yeah.
And same as you, I remember my first workout like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I did Helen.
Yeah.
And blew me out of the water. I had no idea what I was doing. It was awful.
Helen, pull-ups, kettlebell swings, running.
Yeah. One round in, and you're like, "What is happening?" Like you come back in on the kettlebells, and it's just like you're seeing stars.
Yeah.
But awesome. But I loved it straight away. I think. So now we coach people like. So I used to be a coach, obviously, and Sean and Tash, I'm really good friends with them, so I see what the things they go through with new members, and now we're way more careful. Like we want people to have a gentler entry into CrossFit, which I think is the best way to do it. But it is interesting how both you and me had this like thrown to the fire type of thing, and you're just like, wow, I am terrible.
Yeah.
I need to do this
At
more.
everything.
At everything, yeah. But it gives you this urge to like, I really want to do this more.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so addictive about CrossFit, because there's obviously so many movements, right? Even if you keep the Olympic lifting out of it for the moment, there's so many movements. Most of us, there might be something that works for you.
Yeah.
But there's all of these other things that you need to learn, need to improve, and that's the addiction coming back.
Never
getting
ending.
better this, honing this.
Yeah.
And then you add the whole weights into it, right? Barbells, kettlebells, and the rest of it. And you're like, oh my God, I'm literally going to be here my whole life, and I'm still going to be exactly average.
That's well, that is a realization that you get, but then you get okay with that as well, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell me though, what's your, because there are so many movements. Do you have like favorites and movements that are not your favorites at all? Are there stuff that you like to work on still to this day, and what are they?
I think obviously a fan of barbell. Anything on barbell other than maybe thrusters, they're pretty yuck. They're pretty yuck. But anything that's a clean and jerk, snatch, squats. I love a heavy squat.
What do you like about those movements on the barbell? Why do you think that is?
From a squat perspective, it's just how my body feels afterwards. I just feel like I've got a massive pump, like your whole body's working.
Yeah.
Your whole body's working. And then from snatches, clean, jerks, just trying to execute that movement and make it look like when you do it.
Wow. I think we all look at someone else and like, yeah.
I quite often stand a few rows behind you and, 3, 2, 1, go. You will do your clean. I'm like, okay, just do what Kimbo did, and I'll mess it up somewhere.
Nah, that's not true. You do it really well too, for sure. Yeah, it's just it's a time, right? Like it's a physical skill that you keep building on again and again and again and again and again and again. I remember when I started, so I went to a specific weightlifting gym because it was hard to get proper barbell coaching in the early days, and I came in, did like kind of an assessment thing, and started.
Who did you do that with?
Marty.
Marty?
Yeah. And I remember so clearly back then, he told me, well, like, you're not really going to be able to snatch properly until earliest 2 years. And because he's a pretty blunt person,
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? I need to fix
did
this
you
in like
just see
4
this?
Yeah, I need to fix this in 4 weeks. Yeah. So he told me 2 years. And this is 10 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
So, and now I look at it like, fuck, he was so right. And even, probably not even, he probably should have said 10 years. Because it's such a long journey. Like, it's never perfect.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the Olympic weightlifters. They do 2 movements their whole life, and they still go on stage and mess it up.
Yeah.
You know, it is so technical. There's so many moving parts, and so easily to mess it up off the floor.
And it's funny how you have like one good rep and you're like, oh, sweet, killing it. Next one, terrible. You feel like completely off. You're like, what happened?
Last Saturday, Hollyman. Oh my God.
Yeah.
30 cleans, or 30 rounds.
Yep.
5 wall balls, 3 handstand push-ups, 1 heavy clean. I
Yeah.
didn't execute one of those cleans well. Not a single one. Plus, I missed almost 10 reps. I was like, what's going on
Oh,
today?
that's how you told me that. What do you think that is?
I've no idea. Some days, it's just everything works. Like that same week, we had Starry come in and train us on that Tuesday, and we did EMOM cleans, build up to a heavier weight than what we did on there, and it was like nothing. Off the floor, nice and smooth, good catch, feet in good position. I'm like, all day, every day. So there was a coming into Hollyman. I'm like, I've got this. I've got this. I'm pumped. Do the first clean at 225. Catch it like a starfish, and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a long workout. And it was like 33 minutes before I finished.
Yeah. But that's still pretty good time, though, for that workout. It's not like...
Compared to
One minute
last
run.
time I did it, like 36 or 37 at 90 kilos or 92, it's an improvement.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Awesome. This was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because you have... from what I understand, because you tell me your numbers a little bit here and there, and it sounds like you've improved quite a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So you're still, kind of improving on a lot of things in here. What's your mentality kind of going into your training? What are you trying to achieve at the gym? Is this something that you track a bit, or where are you at with mentally with what you're trying to achieve at the gym?
I think most of the time my mantra is whatever the movement is. Let's just say I'm feeling 77 out of 10, right? I'm coming in here, long day, crappy sleep, whatever. Just execute the movement, whatever the movement of the day is. Just try and execute that to the best of my abilities today, right? If I'm coming in here and I'm feeling a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, which is very rare, but usually one day a week, I'm like, okay, whatever the strength component is, do that well. But when it's the WOD, go hard.
Okay, so you're focusing a bit on the workout to make sure that you...
I mean, I'm looking back at... This was probably true in the lead up to the Open.
Yep.
It's probably slacked off a little bit now, but in the lead up to the Open, when we had the programming for the Open, which I thought was really well done, and it was sort of a build up week on week, and we had a deload just before. That's when I was trying to go hard, and I was always asking around the rooms how everyone else is going. You're obviously a yardstick for every workout, regardless if it's heavy or if it's gymnastic, just to sort of see where I'm at. And for the Open this year, I just wanted to beat my last year's score. Just wanted to improve a little bit, just move a couple of spots forward.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
If you look at as far as the data is online, as far as it goes, I've seen incremental improvements every year. There was early on, maybe like 2017, 2018, there were some decent jumps.
Yeah.
But there could have been also with the changes of the regions. I don't really know
So a
how
lot of
that
other
lines.
variables
Yeah,
there,
there's
right?
probably a few variables.
Yeah.
There was one year that I thought I did really well. In the last workout, I did not submit it in time. We missed it by like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I was on the phone to Sergio, who was a coach at SPS, and he was trying to log in and submit it in time.
Yeah.
I think that would have been my best result to date. Maybe like
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, wow. So that's not that long ago.
No.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do feel like we of course have a few people at the gym that are kind of tracking the numbers pretty frequently and keep an eye on everything. They're very focused on their training, right? And Nick is a good example. He
Yeah.
has every number in the back of his head. But I feel like you as well, you do some things really good where you do come in. I feel like when you come into the gym and you get ready, you come in here, a few minutes early, put your shoes on or whatever, tape your thumbs. You have a bit of a mindset of what
15
you...
minutes early if it wasn't for Lara
Yeah.
dragging her feet. Sorry, babes.
Yeah, but you do come in with a bit of a mindset about what you want to try and achieve in that next hour, right? Is that correct?
Absolutely. If it's on one of those days when I didn't just come in here to sign in and burn some calories, if I'm actually here to do a workout, I would look at it usually the night before as it shows up at 8:30, whatever time it is, have a look at what the what is and sort of go through it in my head as to, okay, this is what the movements are, this is what I think I can achieve in this time. And then in the next day, the battle is, hey, can I actually achieve that or can I push it a little bit harder?
Yeah. That's awesome because I don't think necessarily it's wrong just coming in here and, not be that prepared and just, the coaches tell you what to do. I'm a little bit like that now. I definitely didn't. I used to be a lot like you, very well prepared every class. But now I'm not. Like, I'm just trying to let go a little bit. And as long as I come in here and I look at the whiteboard and get told what to do and I get through it and I work up a sweat, I'm pretty happy. But I think what you're doing is you get way more out of it if you have that mentality.
Yeah, you can't have that mentality every single day. I don't think that's realistic or feasible unless you are, you're training for something. You're an athlete or whatever. But coming in here, some days just going, okay, what's on today? Oh, it's snatches, awesome, yeah. It's going to be great. But usually I would have had a look at it the night before, talking to Lara about it and what's the movements,
awesome.
what's this, what's that. So yeah.
Yeah, if it was snatches on the programming, years ago, I would be in here like 45 minutes early.
Yeah.
Start warming up.
Getting the shoulders ready, all of the
getting
movements.
that overhead position and all that stuff. Yeah.
Opening right up.
Yeah, and then I would be in here, warm up for 45 minutes, and then we start snatching in the class and still do like average. I'm like, damn it, all that work didn't
all
quite
of this
work.
time for nothing.
Yeah. So you have done a few different styles of training and been at a few different gyms. What are some of the things that you think is different with the Mono Gym? Like, because you came here at this location, right? You weren't back in the other location.
No, because we were still in lockdown.
Yeah. Actually, let's start with what made you change, and then when you came here, what was it like?
Yeah, I guess the lockdown changed everything, right? The lockdown changed everything. Spending all of the time at home, and then driving. Because I used to live in DY, so training in the Brookvale, it was a no-brainer.
Easier, yeah.
Coming from Monoval to Brookie and back in peak hour traffic in the afternoon was not fun.
Yeah.
Finish the 5:30 class and don't get home till 6:30.
Yeah.
That was annoying. And then when the lockdown came and you couldn't go anywhere, obviously I've known Sean and Tash and quite a few people that have trained here for a long time. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I reached out to them and they're like, hey, more than happy to have you come in for a trial at our new place. Obviously I was across. I think we had some beers somewhere and I knew the old gym was not going to be there any longer, and so the whole thing is like, what's going to happen with the members? Where's everyone going to go? Is everyone going to train? Panicking, so we've got to find a new home for all of these people. And when it all sort of came together, forget what date it was, but when you guys were training in the back.
Yeah,
here,
in the car park.
In the car park, and then once the gym officially opened, Lara and I like, let's do this. Let's try it out. And like leaving home at 4:25 to get here for a 4:30 workout versus a quarter to 4. Big difference.
And did you know any members here?
I knew Nathan, Bridget, Sean, and Tash. Or Darius I've met. I knew a few of the faces. Nina.
So had you met them out at drinks?
Definitely.
So the way to get Dushy to train at your gym, you got to meet him out.
Yeah.
Same at
have
both
some
gyms
beers somewhere,
and he'll be there 6 months later.
pretty much how it's worked out, actually. Yeah.
That's funny.
You asked the question. It's what's different. I don't know. Every place does it slightly differently. I think the warm-up component of the workout is slightly different. Probably spent more time focusing on shoulder movements. If there's anything on the rig, there'll be a lot of warm up to sort of get the thoracic moving, to get your shoulders, your scap and the rest of it. But and running. Oh my god. I think I've mentioned
That's right,
this
your nemesis.
in conversation before. At SBS, it was on a sort of a sloping block, right?
Yeah.
And full lap around the block was about 500 meters, like plus or minus. But it was, you walk out, you run downhill, you got a flat section, uphill, and then sort of a slightly downhill section back into the gym.
Yeah.
We came here, we're like, oh my God, Lara and I are like so excited. Everything's flat. At least I said, at least running is going to be easy, right? Until the first running workout, and came dead last. And it got, as the rounds progressed, it got worse and worse, and the gaps got bigger and bigger. I was like, oh my God. I was like, these guys, I was like, we were chatting, remember in the car, we're driving back. I was like, oh my God, these guys are like athletes. They must be all like games athletes or something. What is wrong with them? They run so fast.
There's a lot of people here that have a crack in the running.
There was that was an experience. It was definitely an eye opener.
Yeah.
But I think a measure of maybe getting a little bit better at that workout I mentioned before, Helen. My Helen time before was like 14. I think it was 14 minutes and 13 seconds. That was my and that was I was happy with that. I was like, it's under 15. I'm good here.
Wow.
And then Sean pushed me pretty hard that day when we did it.
Yeah.
There was one we did recently, but there was one before,
that
maybe
as well.
6 months ago or so. Pushed me pretty hard on that, and I couldn't complete the last set of pull-ups without dropping. But couldn't complete the last set of pull-ups without dropping. But I got like 9 something.
Yeah, it's okay to break up the reps. Like if you still,
I've got it written down somewhere.
Yeah, that's a huge improvement.
You know what? Maybe nine is a BS. I'll find it. You know what's one annoying thing that I miss? We used to have an app. As gone through career, there's like the
Beyond the whiteboard,
beyond the whiteboard, which you had to pay for. It was too much of a tight ass to keep that going, whatever else. But I've lost all of my data, all of my scores, all of the comparison stuff now. Sure, we're on Zen Planner now, and I put absolutely everything in there. Every workout, unless I forget. But it's good to sort of look back to have a reference point to say, okay. Now, am I better now because my technique is better in a particular workout, or am I actually fitter, or or stronger, or both?
How do you put it into Zen Planner? Do you do it when you get home on the app, or
usually when I get home? Yeah.
You use the app on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. I used to be on the whiteboard as well and tracked everything, and then now I'm glad I've lost all that data. I don't really want to look back at it. It's going downhill. I think I've talked about this before, but for me now, I probably should just do like annual PBs, like just track it within the calendar year. Yeah. Because I'm progressively getting worse than what I used to be.
Are you losing a bit of appetite, or?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I've done it this is 12 years. I've done every single open. Yeah. So, losing appetite to compete, 100%. Yeah. But Sean asked me to do this competition that's coming up. They're doing a pairs comp, and it's just like, I hate to be negative, but for me, I don't have any interest anymore. But I still love coming in here training. Yeah. Okay. Like I do want to keep training for. I mean, the training in here and the type of training we do, I think, is perfect for me, and it's the best type of training I can do to stay healthy and have longevity. But watching Torian as well, like going out competing there, I'm like, oh, nah. I'm so done.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, man. You look at those guys and you're like, even if you were as fit and you could take every enhancer available to you, so it doesn't matter. You'd still have to work so hard to get there and compete with those guys. If I flick back on to some of the differences between the gyms, which I think is important to mention, I love the longevity play that we're at now, right? You're not coming in here, new people are not coming in here trying to teach them everything today, right? Yeah. A member comes in, it's going to take those 2 years before your snatches is good, right? It's going to take time until you get up on a bar muscle up. But we're not trying to squeeze everything today, push people into injuries.
Yeah.
I think the programming is better. It's kinder to the body, and you still got the RX Plus if you want to really push and you're feeling good. So you've got the opportunity to go hard there.
Absolutely.
But I think it's a lot smarter. It's a lot better than what it used to be. And that's definitely, I felt that coming in here. Other than the people were really nice, really kind. I love the 4:30 Monday to Thursday. It's a good group of guys. You're there most of the time as well.
You could probably feel the attitude a bit here, right? Actually, I want to ask you about that. Did you feel like the attitude was a bit like, okay, calm down. You don't have to like sprint every workout every day of the week. It's probably like
so much.
Because some other gyms are a little bit like that.
Yeah, there was no pressure. As soon as I saw that there was no scores on the board where you're measuring up every single day to everyone, I was like, okay, this could be a slightly different take on it, and it's definitely felt a bit chilled. Just like when we program, and it's like 6 RPE, 9 RPE.
Yeah.
Of how you feel on the day, not of your absolute one RM of that movement.
Yeah.
So I think I like that approach.
Yeah.
You have the option there to push if you want to. If you're feeling a bit on the day, you can still get a good workout, but not push too hard.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that us having that as a general, not a policy, but I guess the feel of the gym, like you said, is more about longevity. You want
to
to stay
training
healthy
every day. You don't want to have any injuries.
It's not about like trying to peak at the next open. But if you want to do that, you can come in and do. Some people do that here. They do a bit of extra stuff. They like to compete on the weekend and push themselves. All that stuff is totally fine. Like that's awesome. But as a general kind of like you said, not having the scores on the board every day. It's not a competition every day. I do enjoy that as well. I think that's really good.
And there's plenty of competitive guys here. I'd love to actually train in a couple of mornings just to see what the
5:30 Dushy.
I used to be a 5:30 guy.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I used to be a 5:30 guy for years when I was when I had to travel into the city for work every single day. Then I was in the gym 5:30, in the shower at 6:30, and out the door by 7.
Wow.
To make it to work. So I did find, as far as that training, what I was trying to say, I'd love to come and train with Zen and those guys more than just a Saturday. Sometimes just to see where the
ceiling
absolute
is.
elite level is at, and what the gap to that is.
Yeah. You should. It sounds like you should make a promise here and just do a 5:30 classy.
Yeah, just come and surprise them. Yeah. After one of those sleepless nights, just get heaps of caffeine and just go in.
Did you enjoy training at 5:30, or what's the difference for you between 5:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m.?
Strength.
Yeah.
Massive difference. Definitely felt lighter. If it was a running ward or gymnastics in the morning, be my preference for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the afternoon, if there's a heavy barbell that needs to be cleaned, deadlifted, squatted, I feel a lot more strength in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, barbells felt very heavy in the morning.
I remember
that. Yeah, and it was usually, if it was a cold morning like this morning as well, and you pick it up and it's like, Where's the barbell warmers? Is someone not turn it on this morning?
I mean, this isn't even that bad. I used to train winters in Melbourne in the morning.
Oh,
and
yuck.
It's like I was pretty close to wearing gloves.
Yeah.
That was cold.
Yeah, for sure.
But I did. So when I started training in the mornings, I felt like the barbell's really heavy. I'm squatting less, etc., etc. But apparently there's some studies that show that your testosterone level is higher in the morning. So your benefits from strength training in the morning can be better
than in
even though if you lift a little bit less.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, individual and not like across the board. But I was like trying to find some positives of training in the morning. And it makes sense.
High test, and you get more out of pushing your body not as hard.
Yes. But on the downside,
that's the ultimate.
But the downside is though you got to warm up properly in the morning, or everything is a bit stiffer, right? So just to get through the squat pattern movement properly is important as well.
Yeah, because you jump out of bed, right, and if you're lifting something heavy within 15 minutes and you're like, your spine hasn't even had a chance to rotate around fully yet. It's like, this is injury-ville,
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite kind of programming stint that you've had, do you reckon? Like what's been an area of programming where you've been like, we've been through an awesome stage? Have you had any of those?
I think anywhere where you're sort of making gains and you're seeing quick change, that's probably the most fun. We've been through. Lisa's put us through a bunch of like heavy squatting squat cycles, and your PBs over 12 weeks just sort of went through the roof. That was very painful.
Did you do like Smolov or Wendler or?
I don't know what the.
What was the rep scheme, roughly?
It was all either. We did some 10 by 10s.
10 by 10s?
Yeah. 10 by 10s, but the rest of it was like 8 by 3, 3 by 8, 5 by 5.
Okay. Yeah, because Smolov usually ends starts on 3 by 10 and ends on 10 by 3. If I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I do it. 10 by 10 sounds like a lot of squats.
Training partner of mine, Ken, who was an awesome dude and a great CrossFitter, we did a whole bunch of like body weight back squats every Monday, 10 by 10. As on top of the training.
Okay, so body weight back 10 reps. That's doable. That's not
and
that
then
bad.
Every week trying to
that's pretty good, actually.
every week trying to add 5 kilos. So let's just say you start with 80 kilos.
Yeah.
Next Monday will be 85, then 90, 95, and usually about 4 or 5 weeks of that is enough.
And did you find that your back squat went up a fair bit?
A fair bit. You get like a leg pump, like if you're wearing shorts that are sort of fairly loosely fitting. By the end of that, they feel tight.
That's what you want.
Yeah, but the back squats that we did, the actual squatting program was like an Ollie squatting program. I don't know. I don't want to do Lisa an injustice as calling it something that it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was literally Monday back squat. Tuesday will be like heavy cleans, heavy pulls. And maybe like an overhead squat.
Yeah, awesome.
I think we had one day off, maybe Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday squatting again.
Yeah.
Knees and the body was just shattered. Yeah. Lots of like unilateral work as well.
Yeah.
Rear foot elevated and all of that kind of stuff. That's when the gains were made.
Yeah.
It was heavy. It was hard. But I don't know.
Well,
I put on 25 kilos on my back squat in like 12 weeks. So I was like, holy smokes.
It's like athlete training though. Did you eat a lot of food during that time?
Yeah, like 3,000 calories. It was rice, chicken, and broccoli.
Yeah. Man, I've been through a few of those stages. It's like, it's literally athlete life, and then you realize, shit, I'm work full time, and I don't have time
and
to
I'm
recover.
still average.
Yeah,
like exactly average.
And Lynn, probably should explain to the members of the gym that are listening. It sounds amazing, right, to do this back squat program and you gain 25 kilos on your back squat. One of the main reasons why a lot of CrossFit style gyms don't do it anymore is because often that getting that massive gain takes a big toll, and a lot of people don't keep it for a long time after. So like you get this massive gain, and then 6 months down the track when you're competing or whatever, you kind of lost a lot of it anyway. So because we're trying to cover so many bases here, it's not about getting a big back squat. It's about everything.
Yeah.
So, but it is fun when you do it. I agree.
It's fun. The numbers go up. It's fun. But I would say your aerobic conditioning suffers definitely because you're running. You're not running at that point in time.
Yeah.
You're not having 15, 20-minute WODs at all. You'd be lucky to do like an 8-minute EMOM or something fairly light. Probably like wall balls or something else that's using legs again.
Squatting 1 million times a week.
So that's that. I mean, that's the things that I remember because there were, big gains and you obviously feel good when you put in a heavy barbell on your back and you're squatting it and it's coming all the way down and all the way back up. Yeah.
Have to ask though, what was your lifetime PB on your back squat?
172 kilos.
Dang.
Yeah. And I was skinny. I was much smaller, skinnier then.
Wow.
I was like 79 kilos. 78 or 79. I'm probably like 84, 85 at the moment.
Yeah, so almost 100 kilos more than your body weight.
Yeah,
solid.
Yeah, that was good. My deadlift was never great. I think I'm too short to have a great deadlift.
Yeah, same. Often people have one or the other, right? Like they're good at squatting or they're good at deadlifts hinging.
I feel if you're taller and you got longer levers, deadlift just looks easier. Maybe I'll make it look hard.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's probably more about the mechanics of the hip hinge and the
length of your
strength. Are you like strong through the posterior, through the anterior? What's your body like likely to preference to?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same. I would squat any day over deadlifting. It's and
For sure.
I'm pretty sure I've never deadlifted more than I've back squatted, which is like ridiculous.
I'm sure there's some sort of a ratio there to, if your back squat is 150 kilos, your dead should be closer to 200 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, not the case.
Absolutely.
What I want to know about you, what I'm interested in is about your coaching career, right? It's something that you've done in the past and you shy away from.
Yeah, well, I had my I covered 2 classes for Sean and Tasha's honeymoon, or 4 classes, 2 mornings.
Yeah.
So I had a little return to coaching last week for the morning class.
How did it feel?
It's been so long. So last time I did it was at the other gym when Sasha ran away, or she didn't run away. There was thunderstorms, and she escaped through the back. She freaks out at thunderstorm. So Sean and Tash were out looking for her all afternoon, and I covered a class then, which is, it must be 3-4 years ago at least. So it's been too long. I love coaching, but I don't love it as a career anymore. It's not what I want to do. So probably a long story here, but like my dream was always to make a living through video and photos and do that, and I do that now, which is awesome. So there's no way I would go back to coaching, but I do miss it. It's super fun. I got trained at Athletics, which was kind of our sister gym in Brookie, as a coach, and I did it full time for 5 years. So obviously I had a major stint at Athletic, where most of my background, like Wall and Christian, taught me most of everything that I know, really.
I used to live next door to Wall. We were both in the same building in DY for a while before they had a baby and then moved out. Yeah,
he was awesome. They were very progressive in CrossFit because, like we talked about before, CrossFit used to be a little bit gung-ho, Wild West, and they were super early at making progressions and also regressions, which like I remember first time they explained to me like, well, just what if you need to regress someone? I was like, that sounds ludicrous. Why would they go kind of backwards in a way? But I thought, well, there could be, an older client or someone who can't squat for whatever reason.
Movement.
Like Matt Martin's a perfect example. Can't really squat. What do you do with a client like that? So they were onto that super early, and they, obviously we did workshops and training and shadowing and stuff. And and then I had a long stint in Melbourne as well at a very competitive gym, Schwartz's CrossFit Melbourne down there.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I competed
there.
That's
the red and black.
Your favorite colors. Yeah, you'd love that gym.
Fit right in there as a spectator.
Oh man, they have. I don't know if they still have. I'm not sure where that now, but back then for years they had like a massive competitive crew.
I remember them at all the fitness comps. They were running all around the country. When those guys were competing, they were always the ones to look out for.
Highly represented. I mean, it was Schwartz's, Active, and Athletic were probably the 3 biggest gyms back in those days. And like we would do train on a weekly basis. Monday till Saturday, and there would have been probably 20 people in the comp class, and it was just like a throwdown every day.
Every day being on a competition floor.
Oh man, it was. I mean, I obviously had massive gains, and it was super fun. But after a while, you just see the writing on the wall. It's like, okay, I'm done. I'm definitely done. But yeah, it was awesome. But it was like I said, it felt like a 3-hour session, and by the last part A, B, C, D, E, F in the workout, I didn't even look at the timer anymore. I was just like, if I get through this next part, I've won the day.
If I survive and walk out of here and I'm not in a stretcher, I'm good. What would you say is your favorite thing about coaching?
That's a good question. My favorite thing about coaching, because there are so many things. I probably would say I love seeing people progress in movement patterns. So what a lot of members in a class probably don't realize is that coaches, I would say, generally don't really care. Let's put a bit extreme, but I wouldn't really care what weight you have on your barbell. So if you do a workout and, the weight on the whiteboard says 95 pounds to 135 pound, I wouldn't really care if it was the heaviest. Like, that's not the best person in the class, if you're going to grade them from best to worst. But the best person is the guy who has a decent amount for his strength on the barbell and moves really well through a 15-minute workout, and he is pouring sweating at the end.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They've had a good workout. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Like what I really enjoy is like if I see a person having a really good workout through that 1 hour class, stayed safe through all of it, moved well, and probably if I've coached them for years, which I don't do anymore, but back when I did it full time, you can coach someone for like 2-3 years, and you see them progress. That's awesome. Yeah. But also just it's such a social thing to do. Yeah, I mean, especially here at this gym, everyone shoots the shit for an hour, which is it's super fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What did you ever consider coaching, or because Lara's getting into it now?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. I was a gym owner for 6 or 7 years. We opened up Anytime Fitness in Avalon. That got off the ground in like 2011, 2012. I don't remember the times anymore.
Yeah.
We opened up another one in WA, which was a massive fail. It was just too far from home to manage.
Yeah.
As part of that, we did it's like a sort of like a certificate 3 in group fitness. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. I saw myself as maybe like a Saturday coach at whatever my home gym was. Maybe there's still time and room to do that. I enjoy that aspect, shooting the shit and all of that, but also like seeing people progress and helping them with some of the movements. But I feel like I need to be better at it myself before I can coach other people. I don't know if that relates or not, but I feel like I can explain a movement better than execute it myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think probably you should be too strict on that. There's good coaches that don't really. I think you need to be able to demonstrate a movement, but most of the time when you coach, you don't really do it too much, and especially not with heavier weights. So I don't know. That's a never-ending discussion. Is someone who's good at CrossFit, per se, does that matter if they're a good coach? I don't really think so.
Yeah, I think it's probably more important to be able to see something that you can help them change or fix or improve, and be able to vocalize that in a way that they're going to understand and be able to put it into make a change.
Yeah.
Rather than maybe being able to do bar muscle ups or something like that yourself.
100%. I would definitely, because that was a skill that as a coach I never felt I was good at, and something you always try to be better at is seeing someone perform a movement. It could be a gymnastic movement or a barbell movement, and then being able to see not necessarily the mistakes, but the areas of improvement that person can do, and then pick the right ones, not pick everything. Because I would sometimes just give like 8 different cues to someone snatching. I was like, whoa, that's way too much. You just give them 1 or 2 things, but they should be the right 1 or 2 things, and then work on that for a couple of weeks, and then maybe if they improve on that, progress to the next one.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good thing to know as a member as well when you're in the class. Remember, the coach isn't trying to fix everything at once, because that is impossible with some of these movements. They're trying to give you small little things. So if you look at it over a longer duration of time, you're going to keep getting a little bit better, bit better.
And that's also, I think, what I felt here. There was no pressure to be perfect at all these things. It's like, hey, you come in today, you do however you feel it. If you don't want to do pull-ups, you can do ring rows and whatever the movement might be, right? There was no pressure to, okay, and if it says 12 on the board, but you can only do 8 good ones, do 8 good ones and then finish the rest on the ring rows, right? There was that I really enjoyed. I'm like, well, that's that's looking after your members. You're not pushing them too hard. You're not pushing them to exhaustion or failure where there's an injury likely to occur. That's going back to what we said before. That's another thing that I really liked and enjoyed here when we came.
That's a really good point, and that is a progression of CrossFit. I think a lot of gyms do that now. But back in the day, it was like, if it said 12 pull-ups for like a 1 hour workout, keep doing 12 pull-ups. If you just have to stand there and look at the pull-up bar for like 5 minutes and fail a few, just keep doing it. Now, we don't want you to do that. Like that's unless you're trying to, go to the games or whatever, it's pointless training really. Like a lot of that shouldn't really happen.
No.
Do something that makes sense for your progression, and if that means doing a smaller rep number, so be it. That's fine. Totally fine. Yeah. Is there something that you currently are working on that you want to improve at the gym, like with your abilities?
I guess just the overall fitness. I think we're going to do the Australian Fitness Champ comp. We talked about that. We're talking to Sean. Is like there's probably going to be a group of people here that want to go down there. I think it's going to be hosted in Wollongong.
Oh,
towards the end of September. Australian Fitness Champs.
Okay.
I think it's Tribe, the Garrard Brothers gym, and one other gym. They've gone in together trying to organise this event.
Oh wow!
I think it's there's mixed teams, all male, all female.
So you're going to do a comp?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Is this pairs or individual or team or?
There was a couple of different things we're looking at. If I remember this correctly, I think it was mixed teams, so 2 females, 2 males, and then either 4 guys or 4 chicks. I think that was for the intermediate. Now there's going to be some individuals there as well. There's probably going to be all of the cream of the crop of the guys, which they should be in their own little.
Sounds like the return of the guards, maybe.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I'll be keen to do that. It's been a while. There was a whole bunch of like online comps and all that kind of stuff. I just did not enjoy that at all. To me, I was like, I'd just rather come in and do a workout than do something specific, and it's just you and your partner doing, and nobody else is joining in type of thing. But we did quite a few. We did all of the Northern Beaches comps that you guys hosted. Was it 2 or 3 of those? I don't remember.
It's 2, I think. With athletic, you mean?
At the old place.
Did you do the Narrabeen one?
Didn't do the Narrabeen one. No, there was just 2 that were hosted at the old gym.
What was the last comp that you did that you enjoyed?
We did. Well, there was one in Homebush. It was also some Australian fitness something. I forget the name.
Outdoors?
Of it. No, it was indoors inside the stadium. It was inside one of the smaller stadiums.
Oh yeah.
And it was also mixed teams. 2 guys, 2 girls.
Was it All Stars?
All Stars.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, you did that one. Okay, well that was pretty good in that big white tent.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
We did that. I think 2 years back to back. We did it. We qualified to go to Melbourne, but nobody wanted to go to Melbourne. We're literally like the last team that was on. They got cut off to go. I was like, hey, do you guys want to travel? And we're like, nah, not keen on that.
Yeah.
We just wanted to go in and have a bit of fun. Yeah.
Like it's expensive.
Yeah. Tickets, hotel, food, and everything else.
Before you know it, you spend $1,000 on just doing fitness for like 2 days.
Yeah. 2 blinks and you come back home sore with torn hands and everything. So, that was $1,000 well spent. Yeah.
But tell me, what do you enjoy about competing though? Because I'm sure there's a lot of members of the gym that's competing in fitness sounds ludicrous. What are some of the benefits that you take away from doing a fitness comp?
Doing a fitness comp. Look. Every time we've done a fitness comp, right, it's been, the result has been, I always say to you, like, I'm exactly average, right? Because every time we've competed anytime in the open or whatever else, if there's 30 teams, we'll be either 14th, 15th or 16th, right? So no big expectations there. One, you go in and see what the level of fitness is, right? You see where everyone's up to. You might think you've got a strength in a barbell cycling, or for example, and you're like, well, if this is part of the workout, that's probably one thing I'm going to push very hard and try and get ahead. I don't know if it's. I remember the early days, packing up your bags. It's like 6 a.m. heading out to some gym out west.
Yeah.
And spending
baby food in the bag. Yeah, baby snacks
food. The paleo, the blue dinosaur bars and stuff, coffee and all that kind of stuff. I think it was part of being something, especially in the early days, it was being something different, something special, something cool.
Big community feel with it. Yeah. Big community feel.
Yeah.
Especially, I haven't been to one for ages, but yeah, like you said, back in the day, it was like, oh, people with CrossFit t-shirts on.
Yeah,
Sick.
it's like, oh, you see somebody running around with nanos. It's like, oh, that's cool. You know? I think over the years it's gotten even friendlier than what it was in the beginning. You know, in the beginning everyone was like, oh, this is my gym, and we got our programming, and you know, you were
competing against other gyms.
Competing against other gyms.
That's
I think it's a lot friendlier now. It's maybe not as. Would I say it's not as competitive? I'm sure for the top level athletes, it would be unfair to say that because those guys work hard every single day. But I think that 85% of people who are a member in a CrossFit gym, for them it's a friendly competition. You come in here, you learn some new skills, you have a good day, you've broken a sweat, and you go home filled with endorphins. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think. I mean, but for me, by far, the only reason why I would ever do a comp is for the social aspect.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, I've competed a lot, and one of the biggest benefits of having done that, looking back now, is like this network of friends that I've got throughout all of Australia.
And probably the world in some places as well. Right?
Yeah, I was lucky. I got to travel internationally for a bit for work and for competing, and yeah, absolutely. Like it's been that is by far.
How many games trips have you done?
Only one. Did I go as a spectator? No, 2. Yeah, I went 1 year to compete and 1 year to work, basically. Yeah.
In California or Madison?
So competed in California and worked in Madison. Yeah, it was sick. Yeah. But I actually liked Madison probably better. Yeah, I think that was a good move. It's just a smaller place.
Right.
Yeah. It's like I compare that to when regionals used to be in Wollongong. I love that because everyone from around Australia would come down to Wollongong, this small place. You'd go out for a coffee, you'd see friendly faces, you'd go out for dinner, every table would be full of CrossFitters, and you'd know someone.
You come home with the best merch.
It's so sick. But then when they moved it to Sydney, everyone just stayed at home. Like no, you can see it, like you never ran into people.
You were like all of the hotels around, not everyone was in the same spot. It was a different vibe.
And it's exactly the same with LA. Yeah. Everyone was all over the place. But in Madison, there's a small place. There. Yeah, you go to a cafe and, I mean... Yeah, people would just be. You'd see Dave Castro there, or hopefully,
that's cool.
I mean, the sport is super interesting, right? Because it's been having competed in it from the beginning. It's been on this progressive rise, and it's increased and gotten really popular. And then the community, I felt, started to get a bit critical towards it for many good reasons. Yeah. And then before you knew it, they really hit the wall with all the shit that happened. But now
wheel sort of came off.
Wheel completely came off. That's a good way to put it. And then everyone lost interest. And, I think there was 3,000 plus affiliates that de-affiliated. And now it seems like...
lot.
Yeah. But now almost... I think they mentioned that it was more than 2,000 have signed back up. There's new ownership. Everyone wants to see a change. And that's where we're at now. So... I love seeing that at Tour.
To grow that fast, there's got to be some growing pains, right? There's got to be some teething issues, some things that... they were right for 2007, not right for 2017 and onwards, and things need to change and improve. Yeah. But it would be really cool to see where this is in another 5 or 10 years.
I agree. And I think there's some good signs for sure. I was, especially with what we've had going on with the pandemic, that's been another challenge as well. It's out of CrossFit's control. But Torian looked amazing. I actually ended up watching a fair bit of it, and that was cool events, like good athletes, a lot of fresh blood.
It's always had a good name, right?
Torian's been great, been one of the best events for sure. Yeah. Talking about competitors, though, I did want to ask you this. What did you have some CrossFitters that you were like looking up to and they're awesome, or like through?
I met James Newbury.
Oh yeah.
He was SBS. He was an SBS athlete for a while, and that's how we met.
Right.
Yeah, they were throwing all the merch and stuff at him.
That's right. He's been through a few sponsors.
Yeah, I think Lisa might have even been doing some programming for him back in the early days.
Oh wow.
So he was definitely a guy, and I remember. This would have been like really early days at CFX. Maybe like 2013 or something, when he was still a young boy, skinny, scrawny guy, and
he wasn't at the top yet, at the top yet then.
No, absolutely, and watching him grow. From Aussies, he'd probably be. I mean, Chad McKay. I feel like he started the sport overseas for us. Just a big freaking unit.
And he was such a good spokesperson for the sport.
We needed that, right?
Yeah.
We needed that because, you look at some of the top guys that, they're really good for the sport, and some are, maybe a little bit less exciting.
Couldn't agree more.
But I love Dan Bailey.
Yeah.
Bailey, for me, is an all-time great, especially when he did the Denny Broflex, all the funny videos. That was like 2 thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like him and Josh Bridges together as well. They're we need more characters in the sport for sure.
Yeah, that's and it was very easy to buy into it then as well. If you're already training and you see these guys having fun and doing incredible things, and you're like, wow, this is cool. I want to be part of this.
Yeah, I mean, I probably got into it more. Realizing now, I probably got into CrossFit even more because of those videos with like Dan Bailey, Josh Bridges, and that crew, and not even just their training, really, just them having fun personalities and making a fun lifestyle out of it. Because ultimately, how fun is it to do thrusters and pull-ups for like this long? It's probably like, that can only go so long.
About 5 minutes after the workout, you're like, oh yeah, that was good. So your facials during the workout did not resemble anything good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wonder if we do. I mean, now we've lost Matt Fraser. He's retired, and I wonder if it's just me that look at these new athletes.
Need somebody else.
There
needs to be another lead, right? It needs to be. I think Froning was
awesome.
Awesome. He was good for the sport.
He still is actually. I think. Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably still finishing in top 5 everything that he does, right?
I mean, I don't watch. I used to watch every single workout video, but I don't anymore. But I did watch quite a few of Froning's when he did the open stuff. Like he's still the GOAT.
Still the GOAT. And
my opinion.
You put him on television for people that don't know what CrossFit is. You've got a good-looking dude cut out of stone.
Yeah.
So I think
and he speaks quite well.
Speaks well. It was interesting. I think there needs to be somebody new to take that role on.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. There's always new personalities.
A new chick as well, right? It doesn't have to be a guy necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know on the females. Like Tia's obviously still around and she's dominating. Like there's no tomorrow. I feel like the females though have a really good. There's more rivalries there, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like the battle with Tia and Cara is going to be awesome again this year.
Don't you feel that just in life in general, right? Guys, we can come in here, have fun, have a laugh, and even if we're competing against each other, at the end of it, still a high five. I feel like the females, if they are really competing against each other, there's maybe a little bit more bickering going on behind the scenes.
I'll tell you I'll make the story really generic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention
no
names. But when regionals used to be in Wollongong, I was always quite involved either as an athlete or working there for some of the brands that I was working for. So I had access to a lot of the area, and I would go there and film a bit. I'd see moods and stuff in the warm-up area. And exactly like you said, the top heat of the males would warm up downstairs, and there'd be all these awesome characters that have a laugh, shoot the shit with each other, very light-hearted mood. Unless there was someone that was like right on the brink, 2 points out, needed to perform, they might be a little bit to the side and focus really hard.
Yeah.
I will say, like, one of the guys that I've seen most concentrated at the back is James Newbury. He can definitely get into the zone like that.
He's a good athlete, but he's strong-minded. That's what I love about him.
But the top female heat in the back, warming up,
very different.
Completely different mood. Like almost no interaction between the athletes. They would just usually be with their coach and like talking, pretty quietly
eyeing
and
out the competition,
focusing on what they need to do. It's amazing how big of a difference that is for sure. Yeah. I do think there's a bit more camaraderie between the males in our region. It's the only one I've seen.
You see them going. They're just about to go to hit the floor, and they're sitting there, fist pumping each other and stuff. Good luck, mate. Hope goes well for you, and that kind of stuff. That's nice to see.
Yeah.
That's you don't even. I don't think you'd see that on in the Olympics and stuff when they're competing against each other. I don't imagine you'd have that level of camaraderie. Maybe afterwards, but leading onto the stage, I would be maybe I'm wrong, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't imagine that to be there. But in the CrossFit, it certainly feels like there is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Who's your favorite athlete?
Of all time?
Aussie first,
Oh,
and
Australian.
then international.
That's a tough question for the Australian one because I'm kind of
Male or female?
Well, I think the best spokesperson we've ever had for the sport has been Chad, like we
Chad,
mentioned before. Absolutely. I've never seen anyone be as good with the fans as he was. We would, be in the stands in Wollongong, and Chad would just, walk around with everyone, and there's always people coming up trying to get a photo or all this stuff. And I never ever see him not take the time. And he put it. I asked him about that, and he was spot on looking back now because he's not an athlete anymore. He's not in the public eye anymore. He said back then it's like he wanted to be as best as he could with that stuff while it was relevant because one day it'll all be gone.
Yeah.
And he was right.
And
like
want
now,
people remembering for being a good dude.
yeah, now he's a dad and affiliate owner who doesn't compete. I'm sure there's new fans to the sport in Australia that doesn't know who Chad is.
Nah, which is a shame.
Yeah.
I remember watching him. It was a heavy DT, I think the workout was.
At the games.
And I was on the edge of my seat. I was like cheering for him, and I think he
cracked his first rib.
Cracked his first rib or collarbone, and I was like, he's going to dominate this. He's going to smash everyone on the floor in his heat.
Yeah.
And then he just stopped. I was like, what's going on here? I was like,
Yeah.
no, he's injured. He cannot be injured. Look at him.
Yeah, that was a shame. We had an awesome experience with him as well because so the year we went and competed, he was one of the top guys qualifying into the games, and they had this event out in, I don't even know where in California. It was like a swim. I think it was a swim, a bike, and a run.
Yeah.
Kind of like a triathlon type of thing, but I think it finished on the run. And they were out in this area where they couldn't really film. So most of that event was done via just audio, like was like a radio. And we were at our house where we were staying, and you could only listen to it. So it was like going back to the 60s or 50s or whatever. And then, because he ended up winning it. It was so
dial
cool.
it onto your 101 point whatever FM.
I think it was just on the website, on the CrossFit website, and you just play the audio stream of it. And then at the end, they had video because they came to the finish line.
Okay.
And he wasn't in the lead, but he took over the lead when there was no filming. It was just on audio. So they were just saying, oh yeah, I think they misnamed the athlete. They didn't think it was Chad. They came and overpassed him. And then so they said the wrong name, and we were like, oh shit, it's not Chado. And they said, no, wait, it's Chad McKay from Australia. And then in the lead, I was like, hey, you're sick. And then he won it. That was really, really cool. One of the best moments.
What I found in the early days as well, that unless there was an American athlete, they weren't really given nothing like today. Well, the girls changed that because there was no American girls, so they had to acknowledge all the Icelandic women and Australian women. Yeah, so I think that was a positive change because they were always focusing on all of these other athletes, and all of us here are cheering for that one dude or one girl that's on there, and they're not getting any coverage. It's like, come on, man, be a bit better, cover everyone. These guys are the top of the world, so
it has been pretty good though because the Australian athletes have done really well.
Yeah.
Like looking at, especially on the female side, obviously, but even on the male side, we've had guys up in the top 10 and then on the teams as well, we've had some really good teams. So
I remember watching the athletic team when they were out there. I was like,
yeah, they made top 10 a few years after I was on the team.
They were waiting. I said, okay, now we're ready.
Absolutely. All right, that's about an hour, Dushy. Thanks so much for coming on. It's awesome to have a chat.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
We'll have to do this again, and we're going to keep you to the 5:30 a.m. class.
Yep.
Keep an eye out for
come
Dushy.
in and just to see, what those other yardsticks, what do they look like?
It sounds like you're going into try and beat Zen in the morning. You're throwing down the gauntlet.
I don't think you beat him in any workout ever, but there might be that one when he's feeling really tired or whatever.
Just come in
maybe
later
injured or
week.
something, broken leg. That's the day I'll come in and go up against him.
Yeah, and then you're going to do a comp or two this season too.
I think so
as well.
Yeah, just it's been a while. Let's give it a crack. See if I still enjoy it. And if I do, awesome. If I don't, then just come in here in the 4:30 and enjoy.
Yeah, and guys, there's a social night on Friday in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
So make sure you RSVP.
Not next Saturday. Saturday after.
I think is it Saturday or Friday?
Friday.
Yeah.
Saturday. I've been told.
maybe don't hold us to the details, but they are on the Facebook members page, or obviously just ask Sean and Tash. Highly recommend to come out on the come out on the social night. As you can tell from this podcast, you do make good connections every time Dushy goes out for a drink. So
I might join another gym then. Who knows?
If you're a gym owner, you should probably come and recruit.
You should come if you need some new members.
That's
I'll
right.
be there for the grabs.
Yeah, and then there's a peers comp coming out at one of our friends' gym in Brookvale, a tribe, and there's a few guys that have already signed up from here. I think it's male pairs, one division and female pairs if you want to do that. It's in August. I think it's 7 weeks away.
Intermediate. I think there's two.
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I think there's two
divisions.
We looked at the weights. I think we commented on the intermediate. They were still sort of fairly heavy.
Heavy?
Fairly moderate, let's say.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, but yeah, definitely fun, and if nothing else, come down and have a look, which I'll probably end up doing. Just come down and shoot some photos. Of Sean and Jesse have signed up, and I think Darius and Maddie is on there as well. So
really?
It should be even a good battle between those two teams.
Between those two. That'll be the team to watch, go up against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys.
It's been fun. Thanks, Kimbo.
Thanks, Dushy.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys on the next one. To watch more videos like this, you can click the next one right up here. And if you want to subscribe, click the link down here.